simulcasting in 4 platforms. Today, August 12th, 2017, on Saturday morning. Marketing Smarties. Hi, everybody. Let's try that again. Here's what we're supposed to see. We are going to talk about that, among other things. Good day, and welcome to the Marketing Smarties Show on a Saturday. It may not be morning where you are. As a matter of fact, it may not even be Saturday where you are. But it is Saturday for me for another hour, and then it'll be Saturday afternoon instead of morning. Hi, my name is Roland from MinMax Media, bringing you the Saturday morning Marketing Smarties Show from the DIY live streaming show.com website. So we're featuring it there, but we're also live streaming in YouTube, apparently Facebook. We'll prove that in a second here. And also in a Google Plus event. So there are people who will be familiar with the Google Plus events, people who will be totally dumbfounded by the fact that I'm in Facebook because it took a long time for me to get here. I know, I'm sorry about that. And then, of course, we've been doing YouTube videos for a long time. And what most people will not be quite adjusted to is we're live streaming in my website, DIYLivestreamingshow.com, live right now. And we're broadcasting in my website, and a lot of people don't know how to do that. So we'll be talking about these things today, and I want to welcome Facebook people, YouTube people, Google Plus people, and people to DIYLivestreamingshow.com. And I also want to welcome Tim to the green room because he's helping me out today, and we'll be monitoring stuff. So Tim, why don't you turn on your mic and tell people a little bit about yourself. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and let's say hi to everybody.
Well, good morning, afternoon, and evening, and wherever you might be in the world. Tim Longwell with Longwell Art. Our goal in Longwell Art is to reignite your creativity, bring you health and happiness by reaching contentment. And we're giving Roland a hand here because with all this going on, he'd be like a one-armed paper hanger. And
I am a one-armed.
Sorry about that. Forgot about that.
No, it's not.
I meant that totally as a joke.
Oh, I know. Well, I accept that as a joke, and it's funny. But, that's kind of an inside thing. So if people really want to know, you could ask me. But otherwise, it's not that important. Anyway, thanks, Tim. I appreciate that. Tim has been with me for a couple of years in and out of the green room, and lately he's been helping out a lot the last few months. We've been experimenting with the DIY live streaming show website and the VCP plugin. The VCP plugin stands for Video Comments Plus. And the plus is a big plus. There's a lot going on with that. But essentially what it does is it gives me the opportunity to take a live stream that originates from YouTube and embed it live in my own website. And you can only do that under certain circumstances. So we will get into that in future episodes. But just to let you know, my plan is to be able to live stream like this in Facebook, in Google+, in YouTube, and in my website all at once to see what the opportunities are there and see where the people are that actually want to hear and discuss what's going on with this. So there's not that much of a subject lineup today, although if the people who know me understand and know that I could probably talk for hours without even having an assistant in the green room or anything else, or a conversation on the outside. So my mouth just turns on and keeps on going. But what we'll try to do is incorporate the fact that people are watching the show from various places. And so I'll be interrupting in my thought sometimes because I'm reading things that people are saying, like, let's see, just on your side, Kathy Pop is messaging me. Just on your side, posts are made by admin. Are you using admin for a username? Possibly. I have to kick you in the butt if you are. Okay, I consider myself kicked in the butt, Kathy. Thank you very much. And the DIY live streaming show, Margaret Aranda, Dr. Margaret is there, and Lowell Ann Full saying thank you very much for showing up and participating. So it's going to be kind of like a free-form discussion today. There's several things to take into consideration, and that is, one of these things is that I want to check my face. I am broadcasting live to Facebook, and I don't know if anyone's watching there, but if you are, please check in and comment right under the comment that I said. Part of the Smarties show will be focusing on comments right here. In other words, I want to see what you have to say in Facebook and see if Facebook's worthy of a discussion of the Marketing Smarties. So one of the things. Go ahead.
Real quick, in addition to those you mentioned, you have Vivek on the event page, and Andrew is popping up over on the live YouTube chat.
Oh, very cool. Andrew Hatchett has his own community called the User to User Live ! And you can look that up in Google Plus, and it's a great community for learning technical stuff. And he deals with a lot with live streaming and producing shows and being webcasting. So he's a great resource, and you'll be seeing him around the show a lot. Lowell Ann Fulsang also has her own show, and it's called the Being Your Own CEO Success Circle. I got it right. And we join her every week, and that's a really good conversation. So you could look up Being Your Own CEO, or simply look up LowellAnnFulsang.com, and there's no way you could spell that right. Okay, so we'll be posting that in the comments. Lowell Ann, maybe you could just do that for me and post your website in the comments, because more people should watch your show. And we'll get it. I'm just going to take time and do it myself. It's not a link. Well, I'll make it a link. Hang on. Okay. That should, let me test the link. So people are wondering, well, what the hell, Roland? What are you doing? Is this the way you run a show? No, it is not. Usually the format of the show, the link works. Usually the format of my shows are much more organized, and I'll explain why today is not. Today is an experiment to see what the actual integration factor is, for one thing, the quality production. It looks like Margaret Aranda is over in Facebook now. She's commenting. So thank you for doing that, because now I can see that we are indeed complete. Well, no, she didn't mention. She did not message in the comment stream, but she messaged me directly from Smarties. I'm in the website Facebook, so there's a little conversation going on. But I'm hoping people will comment in the comment stream under the video. And let me know what you think of the production quality, the essence of what we're doing to live stream to Facebook, because indeed you might want to show up again and again to come watch the Smarties Show in Facebook Live. And actually, it's not Facebook Live, it's Facebook. This is indeed a Hangout on Air, and or a Hangouts on Air production. That's been a controversy because they've got the name Hangouts on Air, plural, Hangouts with an S, Hangouts on Air, and that is a specific production platform embedded in YouTube. And then you've got Hangout on Air, which is not the same thing. It's not live streaming, and it's available through Google Plus and certain facilities, but it's not the same thing. So it's interesting. Oh, Margaret Aranda says, checking your Facebook page for live streaming. I have you on 2 tabs, therefore in stereo, and your voice sounds great. Great audio, lighting, sound. Thank you. Thank you, Margaret. I know her well enough that we call her Margaret, but you guys call her Dr. Margaret. Okay? When she gets to know you better, she'll maybe drop the doctor. Anyway, thank you. I really appreciate that. And it's a good feedback. And it does appear that she is commenting under the video, but I don't see them coming up. So that's kind of weird. But anyway, we're kind of experimenting with the experience of live streaming to Facebook. So we are indeed live on Facebook. We're live. Well, let's check the Google Plus page, make sure. We're live in Google Plus. Thank you for checking that out. And I see WeWake over there. How you doing, WeWake? Nice seeing you. And wow, we got actually 10 people who checked in on our Google Plus page. See, the one thing, every platform is different. And we have been live streaming since December 2014. A lot of people, especially in Facebook, do not know that about me and the fact that I've been live streaming for this time. But when you have the circumstances that I do, live streaming makes a lot of sense. And so that's just the methodology that I had adapted to because of my condition. My condition, for those of you who don't know, I've been in a wheelchair for since 2012. So I had to make some adjustments. So enough about that. The point is, live streaming is the here and now. Live streaming is going to be the monster trend that everybody is going to want to do. And it surprises me because, as I said, I've been doing this since December 2014. And back then I knew, wow, this is going to be huge. And then here we are in 2017. I've been broadcasting for 2 years, coming and going on various platforms and things. And all of a sudden, people are talking about it. Like Ted Rubin in 2016, December, said, oh, the biggest trend, marketing trend, going into 2017 is live streaming. And I was going, wow, I mean, they're actually, the big guys are finally talking about it. And a few people have been talking about it. To me, when they start talking about live streaming, I'm thinking to myself, well, it's about time, you know, because a lot of us have been doing this for a couple of years now. I see Andrew Hatchett there on the Google Plus event page, and he's another veteran of this whole schematic through the business hangouts on air. I don't know what they're going to do if they do not continue business hangouts on air, because their name is Business Hangouts on Air. But they are considering in that organization a new platform, because Hangouts on Air have been really kind of sketchy in a way. So for me to use Hangouts on Air and for it to come out the way it does, to me, it's like I'm not sure what to make of it because everyone's asking, are Hangouts on Air going to go away or not? And that is a big question. So one of the things is I'm going to live stream whether it does or not. And I have a couple of other formats that I'm looking at. We know that BeLive TV works with the VCP plugin, and everything that we're doing, I could pretty much do with BeLive TV. Also, Twitch, which by the way is they're like $10 a month if you do that. But I'm free because I'm not sure if that's the right price for Twitch. But since I am a member of Amazon Prime, Twitch is free. Oh wow! Let's see what Andrew Hatchett has a picture of me. Maybe I can share screen this and show you what I'm looking at here. This is what Andrew Hatchett was displaying to us, that he's got me on all these different formats all at once, and he's literally monitoring me on all four, I guess. So thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate he researches everything. The guy does everything. And so when you get feedback from Andrew, you get it from all directions. So we have a new, Kathy Pop ended up on our event page. Welcome, Kathy. Kathy's been around for some time now and always makes the most astute comments. Oh, it looks like Barbara Quick actually made it too. We have quite a few people out there. And Lon McClure's out there. I missed that. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of people, and I apologize in advance. We are apparently moving a lot more people through the ranks than I was even aware of. And no, I just appreciate that you showed up and help us do this research, because it will determine exactly what we do in the future. David Story is here. Hi, David. How you doing? Sorry, goodbye. I wanted to hear something new. Yeah, you're not going to hear anything new. Sorry, David. Well, actually, you are, but it's not going to be necessarily what you want to hear today, so that's fine. But what's new is that we aren't new. What's new is that you're discovering something about me that maybe you didn't know before, and about Tim, and about a lot of people in the comment stream that really want to know more about live streaming, because that's pretty much all we talk about. Internet marketing pieces and stuff. Yes. Talk about websites. We talk about social media. We talk about video a lot. But basically, the primary subject for this show, Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties, is live streaming and the things that are surrounding the concept of live streaming, so you can do it better and be better at live streaming. Because we really think that this is going to be what spearheads the wave of marketing change into 2018, 2019, and even into 2020. It's really funny. How many people heard the bell behind me? Tim, did you hear the bell behind me? Okay.
I did. Yep. Thought it was somebody making you coffee.
Yeah, actually, it was my wife eating a bowl of cereal, I think. And it's funny because it reminds me of the fact that live streaming nowadays is really an open book. And the quality of what we produce for the purposes of being live on a show are so different that I can sit here and gab at you from my desk and the microphone and talk to you about my wife eating cereal, even though the subject is live streaming. Because today, this is reality. This is like the reality show. And you don't have to be a polished, perfect person on the screen and looking like, Well, what's my rock and roll soul if it isn't rolling the hit playing Fun Devil from Land of Wall-to-Wall Music, Hit Parade? And you don't have to be this persona of made-up people. You can really literally be yourself. So this is me, and this is Tim, and this is what live streaming is. The reality of the whole thing is that people don't want to see you made up unless they want to see you acting or being a comedian or something like that. If they're going to watch for that purpose, then that's what you do. But right here, right now, we're talking about reality, about being real, authentic, and genuine. So that's what you're getting from me today, and that's what you're getting from Tim. And that's what a lot of people are learning is of more value than the performance, the polished presentation, and whatnot. But the clinging bowl, the cereal bowl, kind of reminded me of what I was seeing the other day when I was watching Steve Dotto. And if you know who Steve Dotto is, you know that he's very, very big in the marketing industry, and he's really big on live streaming right now. And Steve Dotto was doing a video, an experimentation on Webinar Jam, which, by the way, is a pretty decent platform, and it very well might be what we move to eventually. It's possible, but it's just one possibility. And he was in his studio doing something and sitting up and had everything laid out and ready. And he was going along, and all of a sudden there was this sound going on behind Steve Dotto. And I was going, what in the world is that? And then reality TV being authentic, Steve announced and let everybody know that that's my cat using the cat box down there. And so that's reality TV nowadays, and that's being real. And it's basically showing you that the people on the receiving end are very tolerant of people being human, being normal in their home environment, and that's good enough. So don't tell me that you don't have a studio, you don't have the best mic, you don't have the best camera, so you can't live stream or be a part of something like this, because the standards have changed and people are very acceptant of a different standard than they were a few years ago.
And that, regarding that, if I may, that it's interesting that the influencers, if you will, that are becoming relatable to people aren't the big Hollywood names and the big news people anymore and everything from broadcast television and such like that. But the trend, in, as those that are watching the data and everywhere, is that the trend for people of influence now are the live streamers, the ones that are recording to live streams and to YouTube, because people are taking their word over these big personas of Hollywood and New York and such like that, because they are more relatable. They're more on their level. They can relate and identify with them better. Another
really great example is Roberto Blake. And if it works out, I have the conversation. I literally called Roberto Blake on the phone, and he called me back. And we had a conversation. And with any fortune, our direction, we will be interviewing Roberto Blake in the future. He's a very busy guy. So, he's a really good example of a person that gets on video, and he's just natural. He's just Roberto. He doesn't try to act like anybody particular. He just speaks his mind. And by the way, the guy's got a lot to say and a lot of valuable things to say. So he's worth listening to. But the point being, you don't have to do anything other than be yourself on video. And he is himself on video. He's been doing tutorials and various tips and tricks videos for photography and graphic arts for years now. And now he just recently crossed the barrier of having a subscription viewership of over 250,000 viewers on YouTube. So, and that's just been the last few years. So he had a couple of years. So now the guy goes to conventions, flies all over the world, and he's doing a lot. And I know he's doing well. But he's being himself. So it falls back onto this concept that I've been telling everybody for years now. Do what you love, and you will eventually get paid for it. I don't care if you're a ditch digger. I don't care if you don't think that you're worth it to educate beyond that, and you just go out and make your living digging the best ditches in the world. If you take pride in it and you would do that work, it's honorable work. And if you do that, you'll make money digging ditches. I don't care what it is. If you love doing it and you're good at it and you take pride in what you're doing, you can make a living at it. So if you do what you love, eventually you get paid for it. And we have the opportunity today to do things with our brains and expand out in a different area other than picking up a shovel or picking up a pencil or a typewriter. We have the freedom of doing this online. And so many people have been speaking recently about video. You've got to be in video. Well, we've been saying it since 2014. And now I feel like, well, I'm riding the crest of a wave into an era where the whole world is going to be swept by this wave. And luckily, we're not going to suffocate people as the wave comes over. But we are going to definitely grow into this whole new trend of what's going on with video. So as so many people say, if you're not into video right now, you're already too late. And I don't believe that, but I believe that we are in the early stages of just edging past the early adopter stage and going into the early mass group of change that's going to be going on. So anyway, that's my take on that. But what we want to do is we want to broadcast to as many people as possible. And one of the subjects that comes up is simulcasting. We're going to cover that in just a second. But Tim, what do you have for us?
Yeah, Vivek makes an interesting point that for a lot of people, reality is scary, and that's why they put on personas. And let me get back here. Come on, brain engage.
I think that he's got something there, but I think that
Kathy Pop was the one that agreed. Yes.
But I think it's like we can have a whole conversation because I love talking about psychological stuff. But fear is a subject that we could take on completely and deal with an entire week of a month or year of Smarties. And if you're fearful, that's a completely different subject. And wow, I don't even want to get into it because if I get into it, the day will be over. Well, we're halfway through the subject of simulcasting, and what I want to do is kind of hit that bit more heavily. We apparently have 17 people watching, probably via YouTube and also on the DIY Live Streaming Show website. And I really appreciate the fact that you're there. Also, I know that we're streaming live on Facebook, but I don't see any comments in the stream there. Let's see if I make one.
You have to refresh your screen, really, on Facebook to get them to show up. That's what I've noticed I'm having to do. I guess if you're not watching the stream live on that page, then because it's just in a separate window, it's not updating the same.
That's interesting. Well, then the problem with that is that when we refresh, it's going to reset the video, right?
Not what you're doing, because you're refreshing just your screen on the Facebook page.
Yeah, so then the video playing on the Facebook page gets reset.
Only for you as the viewer, not for the people viewing.
What kind of a statement was that? Only for the only?
No, okay. If the people viewing the video on Facebook,
right?
When you refresh your personal page, it does not affect other viewers.
Well, of course not. But I want them to see that other people are commenting. How can they see other comments if they don't refresh their page?
That may be an issue that we've discovered in multicasting.
Okay, so we bring up, I bring this up because what I want to do is see if the experiment proves that in Facebook we can have as equitable an event interaction as we can in my website. And to really see the difference, people will have to come to the website and see. Because in the website, in the DIY live streaming show.com website, you can be watching this video and commenting with all the people that are there. And the video, the comment stream can be refreshed without refreshing the page. And you'll have to see it to understand it. But the reason that I love the plugin is that the conversation works independently from the video. The video never stops unless you refresh the tab and refresh the page. Then it resets. But the idea is you can watch the video on an ongoing basis and chat away with all the people, see the new comments, and it all eventually feeds into the Google Plus, the Google comment stream, and it's all recorded on other people's servers. It doesn't weigh down your website. It's very, very lightweight, and it's evergreen. So when you get done, before the event, during the event, and after the event, the comments can be made. And there's differences. Like in Facebook, you have to refresh the tab of the page, which refreshes the video. So it stopped the video for me. I had to start it again. And now I can see that Lon McClure made a Facebook comment. Let's see, Andrew Gaston Hatchett. Oh, is that Gaston?
Yes, that's Andy.
And Lon McClure and Andy and Lon McClure made comments in there. So I see those and proving that it works. But can you guys in Facebook see the other people's comments? And if you can't, you have to refresh the page, which resets the video, right? So this is something that I am not into, if that's the experience.
Normally that's not the case. I don't know if it has something to do because you're porting in. You got to remember, Facebook does not like YouTube/Google. So it may be something to do with that relationship on how they network or don't like to network, if you will.
I agree.
With Google and YouTube.
I agree.
I've been switching back and forth to chronological and new top comments, and it's given me some of the comments, but other times I've had to refresh in order to get it. And like I say, I'm not sure, because I know this is not the norm for Facebook. If you stream out of an application direct to Facebook, YouTube out of that, YouTube is synced behind Facebook, but Facebook is just their normal pop-out live stream environment. So, and this is a different environment than what I'm used to seeing for live Facebook streams.
Right. So it's all very interesting, and that's part of why we're doing the experiment today. And I plan on taking away some very interesting conclusions from this. So I'm doing what Mark Barris asked me to do. And he says,
yeah, I think he wants you to screen share what you're seeing in comments.
Right.
Not through the VCP, but as a screen share.
Oh, is that what he wants me to say?
So they can compare with what they're seeing is what you're seeing.
Well, what he said would bring up comments on the screen. And if I were to respond to that, I would think that he meant to do this. Bring the comments up on the screen, Roland. And so I brought this comment up on the screen. That's one of the things that the VCP plugin can do. And I'll go ahead and stop sharing that right now. But Mark, let's get some more information from you and see what it is that I can help you with, or you can help us with, and we'll talk about that. One of the things that the VCP plugin does is it lets us brand. So I don't know if you noticed when I was displaying that, there's a light branding of the Smarties in the background. But since you're on the Smarties show, I didn't think that there was a real need to blast all kinds of logos at you when I'm telling you what the other people are saying. So that's what that was all about.
I thought this is what he was asking for.
That's a screen share.
But it brings up the comments on Facebook that I'm seeing.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense. And go ahead and display that for a minute.
It's up. All you got to do is
white box you. So the concept here is, do people see the comments feed in live as they make them, or do they have to refresh the screen? That's to you, Tim. I'm
sorry, ask that again. I was catching something. Lowell Ann was asking about the feed.
Oh, sorry about that. So when people are making comments in Facebook, like what you're showing right now in your screen share, do the comments just flow in, or do they have to refresh the screen?
Sometimes I don't get them, and sometimes I can just go up here to chronological, and I can click it and tell it top comments, and then back to chronological, and it'll pop them up and in the order they appear in the stream.
So that's similar to a refresh in the VCP plugin.
Right.
So
other times I have to refresh the tab.
It's okay. So anyone over in the Facebook section, maybe you could comment for me and tell me, is it convenient or is it not convenient? How well does that work for you? And if it works well, tell me why you like it. If it does not work that well, then let me know why you like it. And then most of you, Andrew and Lon, you have both participated in the website side. So to let us know what you like better and what works best, I would really like to know that. Anyway, for the Facebook people who may be around and watching maybe for the first time, Susan Joy Schlief made a really interesting comment in one of her videos that it could be that 80% or 85 up to 85% was the phrase she used. Up to 85% of videos consumed on the internet, and especially in Facebook, people turn the volume off. Now this kind of stunned me a little bit. So Tim, what do you think? Why? I have my own theories and stuff, but why would up to 85% of the people turn the volume off? Your mic's off. Yeah.
I know that when I'm looking through my stream for the feed, that I have sound muted.
Right.
And if I run across something I'm interested in, then I'll tell the speaker to let me hear it.
Okay, so
because it'll be too distracting as I'm scrolling to find, okay, I want to follow this up. I'm curious about this. No, not really. Keep going. You know.
Okay, so we have to pause right there because this is very misleading. When we hear a statistic like 85% of the listeners turn their volume off, it is for a specific reason, not to consume the video, but to keep it from interfering with their thoughts, their own thinking. And choosing what they're going to listen to, it makes a lot of sense. And Facebook has a lot of autoplay stuff that's going on in the background. And so if they're counting all the things that have no volume, as well as the stuff that the people purposely turn the volume off for, then I can see 85% making sense. But it's very misleading when you say that that 85% of the listeners are turning the volume off, because that's implying that 85% of the time people are doing something that has nothing to do with the video, and they don't want to hear what's being said. Nowadays you cannot watch a video and get full value out of the video. You have to hear what the person's message is, and watching it is only part of the battle. So 85% of the videos with the volume turned off that's misleading to me. Would you agree with that or not?
Yeah, it doesn't give enough information, so it becomes misleading. Well, I'm at it here. Let me go ahead and pop this up real quick here. We have a comment from over on YouTube regarding this very information.
Okay, let's have it.
There you go, if you want to share that out. And it's from my co-tech here in the office / studio with me, that Isaac, he turns the sound off due to a lot of the shared videos have a music overlay and no actual talking. So there's no point in having the sound on if he's just glancing through the content like that, or if there's no valid reason if he doesn't need the music.
Yeah,
to have sound on.
See, that's a real good point. And the concept that I'm driving at is that people use the tools or use the facility for entertainment purposes for different effects. And sometimes they want to hear something, just music. Sometimes they want to have a podcast. They're listening to something in the car. Sometimes it's whatever the case. Or they're doing something on one screen and they just want to keep something visually kind of available so that when it gets to the part that they want to watch, they can do that. So people use these things for different things. So when you just hear a statistic, it only makes so much sense.
And we're getting a lot of good feedback. It would take so much just to try to grab all of this.
Yes, I know.
Kathy Pop says she thinks the statistics are off and not accurate because sound is off by default. Andrew turns it off because there's too much loud, junky music in them, like Isaac. Kathy also brings out a very valid point that view time for Facebook is 3 seconds. So that's going to skew their statistics. Andrew also brings out that it depends on how familiar you are with Facebook. And then Vivek brings out that Facebook has so many advertisements with loud music blaring that he turns it off. So a lot of them have their audio off because of the autoplay feature that's so distracting and irritating.
You know, it's a very good point. In Facebook, they're really structured around their advertising, and people, when they're 80% of the people coming into Facebook as marketers are thinking, how do I get the cheapest ad with the most effect to air in Facebook? How do I get the most people watching it? How do I get the most clicks? How do I get the most? They don't really care so much about the product and the service that they're delivering. They just want to get the end conversion done. And when marketing is focused on that, then they take the platform, whatever it is, no matter what the environment is, no matter what state of the union or consciousness you're in, and they use the tool to get their job done, which is selling a product. And so when you're thinking like this, the rest of us are going to be annoyed, because that's the general consensus. I've known since 2014 that 80% of what's on the internet as far as advertising is ignored and possibly disliked for the most part. So if 80% of what's feeding on Facebook is rejected, that's what advertisers are facing. And which is exactly why I think that the education-based marketing concept where we're sitting here and talking about something, when to the people who want to talk about it and learn something that's practical and useful, is a far better way to use our resources than for me to try to sell you something. Even though I have things to sell, I think it's better to educate the people and talk about what they want to talk about so that it's pertinent to them and is of value. So that's my take on that. And we're really getting some great feedback. I see. We can't possibly keep up with all of it, but I want to rest on this one. I'm curious. This is Mark Barris is saying, I'm curious about what Tim said about bringing up the comments from all platforms, because and I really think that this deserves to be shown. And one of the things that we're going to show you is, I'm capturing your comment here as we speak. I'm going into the VCP plugin. Posting it there. I'm bringing it up, and now I'm going to screen share it. So I know this takes a little bit of work. I can't push a button and show you automatically what's going on, but there you are, the comment that you made. And then when I started talking about it, I started working on it. So it's a little bit of a manipulation, but it allows us to literally show a comment full screen like that and add that to the conversation. And when we do that, then it includes you from the audience into what we're saying. So
I can show him the back end. I have that brought up if you would like, so he knows why I'm so busy back here on this side.
Go ahead and show him. We'll do a screen share, Tim.
There you go, shared.
So we have this facility built into the plugin. It's a WordPress plugin. And if we enter this information, we're allowed to capture the comments from the comment stream on the right, which is exactly the same as the one in the website, and then enter it in the message comment viewer on the left and select how we want to display it, the background of choice, and so forth, and then hit display, and then it actually brings it up live. So now Tim just decided to select a different background that has a little bit of a Smarties accent to it. So you want to go ahead and display that, Tim?
Yeah, let me just grab a comment. For example, what we were talking about is helping him understand is I'll grab Lon McClure's comment out of
Perfect.
Facebook. See, so I grabbed that out of Facebook. And now while you're sharing it, see, now you can see. So I'm having to go from window to window to window, copy and paste. And when we have such a lively discussion like this, you're scrambling pretty quick, especially jumping through the different windows. It's a lot easier, a lot smoother when it's all coming through the VCP program, because then we just grab it out of that little stream in the back end like we were showing you.
Right.
So here, it's because I can just grab the comment from over here and copy and paste it in. But with all these extra live streams, the simulcasting, I need to be able to go to Facebook and grab a comment and so on. So that's what I was talking about. And to clarify why it was struggling to get to those.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. And the point of this all is that we're not just having a conversation for platforms. We are producing an end results show. And since the video is going to be evergreen and viewable after it replays, people who watch the replay will see comments like that and say, oh, wow, that person was in the audience. They made a comment, and then they show the comment live, and it's in the video. Because if the people in the video are talking about, like, so-and-so made the comment and blah, 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 that's one thing. But when you actually see it on the screen and that affects the conversation and is pertinent, there's a power there. And it's drawing the people from the outside into the conversation and make them as real as the people in the video. So let's go back to the comment. I want to talk about, I'm curious about what Tim said about bringing up the comments from all platforms. And the concept is, if we could easily do this and display what people are saying in all these places, it would be much, much easier. But there is not one concept or one tool that integrates all these streams of conversation. So I thought, well, dang it, I just want to have a central location where everybody can do this, where everyone can comment, where we can see everybody, where it's easy to display and easy to recognize the people in the field. And we don't have to check for resources. Now, after this experiment, it very well may be that we end up saying, okay, I need 4 people to ride 4 different formats, integrate it into my green room, and be able to feature 4 comment streams at once to really make this effective. Or we have separate shows in each platform. But the one thing that I do know is that YouTube video can embed live in my website, in YouTube, in Google Plus, and in Facebook all at the same time. So we're conquering certain aspects of it, but how practical is it? That's what we're determining today, or at least part of how practical it is. What do you have here, Tim?
Yeah, Vivek brings up an interesting point about information. It says innovation in the TV channels in India, when there's an advertisement break, they actually show a countdown timer, kind of like the old movie theaters did. Movie will be back in X minutes and count it down or whatever. And so it shows the minutes and sections of when the show will be back. So if it's a 5-minute break, you know you've got this much time before you can actually go get a coffee, a snack, whatever, knowing full well that you won't miss the actual program.
That's so interesting.
So I thought that was something that made it interesting, and how that can be related to live streaming and how we're going to eventually possibly need to work that into our live streaming.
Do you remember that when movies were so long and it was so tedious to try to sit through a 2-hour or longer movie that they had breaks in the middle, intermissions?
The intermissions,
remember
yes.
That big intermission sign across the screen and music playing in the background, and everybody get up, stretch their legs, and go to the potty break, and then grab
Snack
a
bar
package,
and what have you, yep.
grab their popcorn and a refill on their Coke, and then jump back into their seats, watch the second half. Well, those were the days. And people, millennials are looking at us going, huh? What are they talking about? Well, that's the way it was. And the movie, the cheap movie reviews where you started out at 11 o'clock in the morning and they played all day until midnight, and you got to watch Planet of the Apes 1, 2, and 3 and various series like that, and watch them all at once. Those were some fun days.
Kathy Pop remembers them at the drive-ins.
Oh, the drive-ins. That's another story. Yeah. So anyway, God, this is a lot of interaction. I would like to know, maybe people can comment where you heard about this event today, whether you're new with us, whether Facebook was the way you heard about the show, and what you think of it. Because we're going to be dealing a lot with live streaming concept, because I've talked about a lot of things in the Marketing Smarties show over the years. And we've tried to focus on everything, but I don't think you need to focus on everything. I think you need to focus on the chosen few things and make them work for you. You don't have to do everything. You just have to do a few things right. So that's part of the concept of what makes a good start, an effective start for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, where you've only got yourself and maybe another helper or two trying to do something. We can't do it all, where there's no way we can do it all. You've got to select the few things that you want to do and do the few things right. That's what's going to be effective for you. Let's see what Tim's bringing.
Yeah, Kathy Pop brought up an interesting, so apparently there's some other comment integration programs that are starting to pop up as well. And she says that some of those programs are having different tabs for different platforms, so that the tab would bring in, like a browser does now, the Facebook, Twitter, etc. feed, and then you'd grab it from there.
It's an interesting thing. I would there are some questions that hopefully we can get answered here. And for one thing, I would want to know, was the Facebook experience for people worth spending time there versus the VCP page in DIYLivestreamingShow.com? Or do you prefer Google Plus? Let's see what's happening on Google Plus.
Yeah, Paul Murray just made a real good comment there. I was just grabbing it to bring it in.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can go ahead. I'll pop it up as a share, and you can go ahead and put it out there. Because it's right in line with where you were headed.
Absolutely. And I'm going to ask Tim a question first, see what he thinks as a follow-up. Paul Murray, met him through Lowland Fulsang's show, and this guy is really, really sharp. Got to listen to what he says. He's got some great smarts. He says each platform is primarily viewed for a different reason. So choosing the platform often dictates the message. Knowing and targeting your audience improves results. Absolutely. And in my case, Paul, I think it's a matter of I have my message, and I don't want to just go wherever you are, figure out what you want to hear and tell you what you want to hear. It's not a methodology that I'm acclimated to or that I even want to pursue. But I have a message. The message is live streaming. And now they're starting to use it everywhere. Live streaming as a message is even invading LinkedIn after all these years. Microsoft bought LinkedIn, and now it's transforming LinkedIn to add and integrate live streaming video. And it's not all broken out yet. It's not exact, but they're definitely moving that direction. So as they do, such is the rest of the world. But the nature of LinkedIn is so vividly different than Facebook. So if I broadcast in my website and the message is pretty good and sound, and I get my little niche of people, and we regroup every Saturday and have a conversation like this, then if we're having the similar conversation in Facebook, are they going to even like the conversation? And if I'm having the same conversation broadcast to LinkedIn, are they going to like the same conversation? I think that there are going to be differences. And if I do a presentation to LinkedIn, I'm talking mostly to more of the professional people and the mindset of professionals. And it's not necessarily going to be for casual consumption. Whereas here in Facebook, a lot of people might be just killing some time and not even into marketing, but they're just, oh, this is an interesting conversation in here. Whereas in LinkedIn, there's an edge to what everyone's doing because they've got a specific purpose to boost their business or their connections within business more succinctly. And the people in the DIYLivestreamingshow.com website, we have a different air about us that's been focused on the fact that we know we've been gathered together to talk about technology and talk about trends, and we talk about best practices, and we talk about mindsets and attitudes on a weekly basis. So it's a little bit different place no matter where we go. So is it viable to simulcast to these four locations? I have a theory that even though Facebook has the nature of Facebook, there will be the niche of people in Facebook that are compatible with our message. And that's all we want. We just want the people who are thinking what we're thinking when we're thinking it. And the people in LinkedIn, if we have a discussion on the Smarties show, it's not gonna attract everybody in LinkedIn either. But there will be those who are just now starting to get into live streaming, And I think that that is a group from LinkedIn who are going to want to hear our message. So no matter where you are, there's going to be some group. It's just a matter of whether it's worth your time or not. Okay, let's see what Tim's got. From Mark Barris.
Yeah, he says that there's a app called Visor, and you can have your phone show the comment stream live, and then have the phone near the camera to work as a second display. That's a really great tip, Mark, and want to thank you for it. I think one of the things I'm going to do is, just being who I am, is look and see if there's a way to integrate or fudge factor that into the desktop.
Well, I think Mark's got a really good idea there, and I'll show you. I'm going to cut my mic out from use for just a second as I show this to you. So I've got this gadget here that holds a phone on the other side of my tripod. Oh, except that I did that and I had you white boxed. So Roland, let's white box ourselves. So you can probably barely hear me now, but that's because the microphone is on the other side of the boom. But this is a phone holder that holds a smartphone. And if I were to do that, I could stick that on a stand like this and let it sit in my face the entire time. And so I think that's what Mark's getting at. And that would be a viable possibility, a little app that showed the comment stream. But that's one platform, right? One phone, one platform. So the effort that we made for the VCP plugin was to have everyone come to the website, DIYLivestreamingshow.com, and comment there, so I could look at the comment streams, monitor the video, and everything is self-contained right there. And I think that regardless of what we're doing, that's still the viable solution for me. And I want to incorporate the Facebook opportunity, because I think that there's a vast opportunity there, but I'm still refining as the best way to take advantage of it. And I'm pretty sure that just to build my own community in Facebook and have my own programming and my own gatherings in Facebook and not worry about my website. And in other words, not try to drive people from Facebook to my website, but just have the community there on Facebook and have the conversation that we will. And I think that that will be a possibility. So the one other thing I want to check with Facebook right now is that when we go live in a post, whether anything happens to the video section, and the answer is no. So unless you're doing Facebook Live or a Be Live broadcast to Facebook, it does not affect your video section unless you do those special things. So it's been an interesting experiment. Tim, you have any other final comments regarding what's going on? And
yeah, there's a real good one from Andrew, and there's getting a lot of folks who are agreeing with it, and they can see the point. And it is a valid statement in many, many ways. And Andrew says there's nothing wrong with simulcasting to cast a wide net, but don't drive yourself crazy. He's saying he wouldn't drive himself crazy. So basically he's saying don't go nuts over this, trying to track all the comments on all the platforms. They can watch where they want, but if they want to be interactive, then they need to come to the platform where I'll be wanting to see the comments.
That's a really good point, and that's why we designed the VCP plugin. And so I think that it could be that we will only display comments from the VCP event page, and then monitor the comments elsewhere and talk to the people and recognize them, acknowledge them, and so forth. But people will wonder, well, why are those specific comments getting displayed? And we'll say, well, they're being posted in my website, so those are the ones that I'm displaying. And which makes Tim's job and my job of displaying them a lot easier, as you were able to envision there. So ultimately, I think that we've got some interesting proof of what we're doing with the plugin, with live streaming, and with multiple casting or simulcasting. I keep whiteboxing Tim.
And I know they're tired of seeing this mug.
Yeah, I know. I apologize to everybody. Okay. No, Tim, you're just fine. But I mean, we have to figure out the best way to use the tools. It's one thing to have the tools, and someone else is going to say, okay, we've got these tools, simulcast everywhere, blurt it out there. Make sure you're getting to as many faces, as many people, and make sure you advertise and promote and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, that's the last time I'm going to boost anything in Facebook, but I had to try it. And it's not the tool. It's not the tool and the opportunity or the capability that you think is with the tool. It's learning how to use the tool properly. And I've been saying that simple statement for years. And I think that it makes the most sense when we consider this, that video can be as invasive as anything else if you use it wrong. So let's not use it wrong. Let's learn how to use it right. Keep on watching the show, and we'll give you as many good clues as we can. And we're going to be signing off for the day. And I really appreciate everybody that hung out with us today and contributed to our experiment. It was very important that we do this, and we'll probably do it again, but we're going to refine exactly how we do it. And so I appreciate it. Roland signing off for Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, okay?